Hey food fans, welcome to another episode of Then We Eat. Today we're making meatball lasagna. Today's recipe is quick and easy meatball lasagna. The reason why it's quick and easy is because everything is store-bought. Your lasagna noodles, your meatballs, your jarred spaghetti sauce. You can even buy shredded cheese already. Today I'm going to be using meatballs made fresh. If you want to see the video, check out the link here. Let's get started with our prep work. Okay, we're going to start with our mozzarella cheese. We need 2 cups of grated mozzarella cheese. Let's get grating. If you have a little bit more than 2 cups, that's all right. Lasagna uses a lot of mozzarella cheese, and the more cheese, the better it is. That should be good. Get all the cheese out of your grater. You don't want to waste any of it. We're going to set our cheese aside, and we're going to grate some Parmesan cheese. I like this cheese grater when I'm grating my Parmesan cheese, but you can use whatever you like. I just find this works really well. I've got the catch basin to catch all the good cheese in there. I need 1/4 cup of grated cheese, so let's see what we come up with. Now that should be enough cheese. I'm going to measure out 1/4 cup, clean all the cheese off of here. You don't want to waste any of this because it's super expensive. Now, I need 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese, so I'm going to measure that out, but I'm going to keep the bowl handy in case I need extra. There we go. The rest of the container is not going to go far. Put a lid on it so I don't dump it on the floor. Now for the lasagna noodles. I like to use these ready-to-bake lasagna noodles that don't need to be cooked first. I just find that if you have to cut them into smaller pieces, they don't cut very well. So I'm just going to drop them into a little bit of boiling water for about a minute, just to soften them up a little bit so I can cut them to the size that I need. I'm going to do that off camera, and while I'm doing that, we'll start cutting up the meatballs. Back in a minute. Hi, welcome back. Now it's time to cut up the meatballs. The meatballs we're going to cut in half, and then they'll go on top of the lasagna noodles. Let's get cutting. These are the lovely meatballs that we made earlier in the other video. Check it out up here so you can make your own. I need 16 ounces of meatballs. I'm going to start with 16 meatballs to see where we're at, and if I need more, I'll cut up some more. Let's get started. We're just going to cut them in half. Well, I ended up doing 20, so we'll see where that takes us. We're not going to go very far with what's left of the meatballs, just in case we need more. Let's put these aside, and we'll work on our toppings. Let's make our cheese sauce. We need 15 ounces of ricotta cheese mixed in with 1 egg. My container is 1 kilo, so I'm going to use half the container of ricotta. We're going to put our egg in. And we'll give that a mix. There's our cheese mixture done. Let's get the lasagna noodles, and we should be able to start layering our lasagna. And welcome back. Let's start assembling our lasagnas. I'm using 2 smaller containers and a little teeny tiny one. The little teeny tiny one is my taste one because I'm going to freeze the other ones. They freeze really well and they make a great side dish if you need something for dinner. As I said, I've pre-cooked my noodles. You don't have to. All I've done is just make them so that they're pliable so that I can cut them to the size that I want. I find they cut much better this way than if they're not cooked, then they tend to just break. Let's measure the size we need and start cutting our noodles. And don't throw away all the little pieces on the end because you can use these to tuck into little places that you need in your bowl. Let's start assembling. We're going to start with the tomato sauce. We're going to put a little bit on the bottom of our pan. Before I start, I just want to remind you that I did spray the bottom so that so nothing will stick when it's cooked. We're going to put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. Again, this is supposed to prevent the noodles from sticking to the bottom. Just a light coating. Then we're going to follow that with our lasagna noodles. We're going to add our meatballs to that. We've got our meatballs arranged in the bottom. Now we're going to add a little bit of our ricotta cheese. And then a little bit of our mozzarella cheese. And the next layer of our lasagna noodles. More of our sauce, more meatballs, and we're just going to keep repeating. Okay, we've got our meatballs on there, a little bit more ricotta cheese, a little more mozzarella, and our last layer of noodles. Now for the top, we're just going to add sauce and mozzarella cheese. Tiny bit of sauce so the noodles don't blacken up, get hard. Just keeps them nice and juicy. A little bit more of the mozzarella cheese, not a lot because there's a lot in here still. And we'll top that off with a little bit of the Parmesan cheese. Now you bake this in a 350-degree oven for 1 hour until the cheese is nice and bubbly and the meatballs and everything are heated through. I'm not cooking this one, I'm going to freeze this one, but I will make a second one, a smaller one, that we can taste for today. As it turns out, I only had enough ingredients for this big one and the small one. So the second one that I was planning to do isn't going to happen. Stay with me while I make the second one and I'll show you what it looks like for the oven. Okay, welcome back. I've got our small little one ready for the oven. I'm going to put it on a pan before I put it in the oven in case it boils over. It helps prevent the mess getting into your oven. So I'm going to put it on a pan, put it in the oven for 350 degrees for about an hour. This one probably won't take an hour, but we'll be back once it's cooked, then we're ready to taste. See you in about an hour. Hi, and welcome back. The lasagna's cooked. It was in the oven for about 40 minutes. It didn't really take the hour because it was small. It's cooked, it's ready to go. Now let's try it. I'm just gonna eat right from the container. This is what it looks like cooked. Yummy. Smells amazing. See if I can get it out of here without spilling it all over myself. So here's what it looks like. It's upside down on my fork. It's plenty hot. Let's try it. I think I'm gonna burn my mouth on this. Oh, it is so good. The meatballs with the sausage meat in it, really good. You can taste the ricotta cheese, and that ooey gooey mozzarella is mixed in there just perfectly. Overall, it's really good. Cooked to perfection. I'm not sure if there's anything that I would change with this recipe. It tastes really good. I might add just a tiny bit more spice to it, but the sausage meat really adds a lot of flavor to it. If you like this video, hit the like button, share with all your friends, hit the subscribe button, and let us know in the comments down below. What would you like to see us make? Or would you like to try this recipe, or what would you change? And remember, first we cook, then we eat. So good.